for. It's a pleasure that you've tuned in at the end of your, I'm sure, busy week, in whatever capacity that might look like. We'll just take a little bit of time to settle in. We'll take a little bit of time to sort of get comfy and fidget around, and then we're going to just drop in to some slow and gentle movement in our chair, or of course in our bed. And we'll finish with a breathing practice. We tend to sort of do it that way around. We tend to do a breathing practice towards the end, as we tend to be a little bit more relaxed and have a little bit or a better chance of focusing. And then we just have a short relaxation at the end before we come back together and close the session. So as we're moving and breathing and doing whatever we're doing, feel free to, if something isn't feeling right and the variations that I've given you don't feel right, then just give me a yell, shout out, like, what can we do here, Meg? Like, this isn't feeling quite right. We'll work out, we'll find an alternative. But equally, if you like to freestyle and you find something else that you like and that feels good in your body, I'm never going to tell you no. Okay, so we're going to land the feet on the ground, roughly underneath the knee, and just let your body relax into your chair for a moment or two. So really let yourself lean into the back of it, let the muscles in your bum relax if you can. And just let your breath come and go as it pleases. Sometimes I find myself taking like big, deep breaths and a big sigh out sometimes when I first start doing some yoga. It just sort of helps me, but just let yourself start to land. And just noticing if there's anything you can do to make yourself even like 1 or 2% more physically comfortable. And if there is something you can do, then do it. Let yourself have that extra percent if you've got it. You can have your eyes closed or just keeping your gaze at the screen so you can see what's going on. It's entirely up to you. And I'm just going to ask you to just reflect on how your body and your brain feel in this moment. So 6:50 on a Friday night. How is your body and how is your mind? It's all right if there's lots of answers coming back. Hello, Amy, we're just settling in. Lovely, nice to have you. But just taking this little moment, an opportunity to check in and just notice, especially if we've had a busy day, that opportunity to stop or notice or take stock might not have been so available to us. So we're sort of giving ourselves that now, checking in, how are we doing? Just so that we've got a bit of an idea before we go and do anything else. And then we're just going to focus our attention on our breath, if that feels comfortable, for the next 5 to 10 rounds of breathing in and out. You don't have to change your breath. Some of you might find that you like putting your hands on your tummy or your chest so that you can feel the movement of breath as it comes in and out. It doesn't matter whether you're breathing in through your nose or your mouth, or you're doing a bit of both, whichever feels best for you. And if at any point when we're practicing in these sessions, focusing on your breath doesn't feel safe, so that can happen sometimes if we're already anxious, we maybe don't want to spend time with our breath. Just focusing on another physical sensation in your body is a really nice alternative. That could be anything at all. My go-tos are my feet on the floor or whatever is underneath my hands. That's a really good place to start if you need to move away from your breath and towards something else. And then I would love for you perhaps just to give yourself moment to think if you've got an intention for today. Is there something that really drove you to get here today? Something that you really wanted to get out of this session? Something you want a little bit more of, or something you want to cultivate, and just name it in your head. And then don't worry about it. You can start to blink your eyes open if you want. You can release your hands from your chest or your tummy, bringing the hands down to the tops of our lap. And we're just going to start moving gently. So if you just have, I'll demonstrate this movement from the front and also from the side, so you can see what's happening before we have a go together. We're going to start just picking up the toes. So Hazel will have we did this one this morning. So we're going to pick up the toes, but keep the heels on the ground. And as we do that, our hands are going to slide further towards the tops of our thighs. And we're going to just gently lift our chest up a little bit. As we pop the feet and the toes back down on the floor, we're going to slide the hands back towards the knees. And then you're going to just gently round your spine slightly, tucking your pelvis under and just slightly tucking your chin. So we're doing a little movement in our spine as we peel the feet away and as we plant the feet back down onto the floor. So I'll show you from the side. We're going to breathe in, pick up the toes, send the hands to the tops of the thighs and lift the chest a little bit. You might lift the chin a little bit. Your shoulders might move back a little bit. As we breathe out, we're going to set the toes back down. Hands are going to slide to the knees and gently tucking the chin in towards the chest, but not touching, and finding that little round through the back. If you want to do that without picking up the toes and popping them down, you can. You can just focus on the spine. Or you can start with the feet and then build, add the spine in after a few rounds. I'm just going to be a little bit quieter for a minute as you just find a rhythm that really suits where you're at today. Don't worry about what anyone else on the screen is doing, whether they're moving faster or slower, or if it looks different. Just feel this one out. Lovely, everyone. I quite like to imagine that the bottoms of my feet are sticky and I'm having to peel them off the floor. And then almost as slow as I lifted them, I'm trying to place them back down slowly as my spine just gently rounds. So you've got like a full body movement, but really kind of starting to work into a gentle cat and cow through the spine. We're going to have a little rest there. And then we're just going to build that movement a little bit for those who want to. But you can always stick with what we've just done. These are always options. You can go, yeah, I like that one, or no, I don't. Same thing with the feet. Same thing with the spine. As we pick up the toes, we bring the hands back towards the top of the thighs, and then maybe they come either side of our chest with our palms facing forward. Now our hands might be much further forward if that feels comfortable, more comfortable in our shoulders. The closer to the chest, we might get more sensation across the chest and in the shoulders. We don't want to pull the hands back behind the shoulders. We want to keep the hands just ahead of the chest or the torso. And then same going back the other way. Slide the hands down towards the knees as the feet make their way all the way to the floor. So we're adding in a cobra where we open up through the chest just a little bit more. So I've got a real tickle in my throat, bear with me. Yeah, nice, everyone. You can also play with the width between the hands, so they could be really wide. And that can feel nice sometimes if we want a bit more space in our shoulders. It could be narrower. That doesn't feel so good for me, but you can play with moving that around. And maybe taking one more if you're still going and that's feeling nice. And then when you get to the end of that one round that you're doing, just take a pause. There's no rush. You've got all the time in the world. Just let your body do what it feels like it wants to do when we let that movement go. Some people just like to kind of sit back and let everything flop and hang out. You might want to do like a little fidget and rearrange, shake. You might need to do a big yawn. You don't have to stifle it. You can yawn as much as you like. Really, really lovely. So we're going to just sort of keep exploring movements like that are soft and that sort of involve most of the body at once, kind of rough as much as we can. We're just going to take our feet a little wider apart than maybe hip distance, and you're just going to turn the toes out just slightly. Beautiful. And then with the hands just resting on the thighs or the knees, kind of just let the shoulders relax down away from your ears. You might give the shoulders a little shimmy. We're going to just start by taking the right hand, keeping it on the right thigh, and taking the left arm out to the side like you're about to hitch a ride out somewhere. You're reaching out towards that left side. You can really bend that arm if you need, and it doesn't have to be shoulder height. You can reach lower, you can reach less far. So left arm out, and we're just going to bring those left fingers across towards where our right hand is sat. So you're sort of crossing over the front of your body and reaching towards that right knee or that right hand. We're going to inhale. We're going to open that left side of our chest, ribs, shoulder. And we're going to exhale like you're closing a gate. Bringing that hand back over towards the right. Lovely. And then if you can, find your rhythm. So when you inhale, you open that arm out, any amount. And when you exhale, you close that gate and take that gentle twist across the body. Well done, everyone. Couple more like that to see how it feels. Again, you can explore anytime you like, taking that hand higher or lower. It doesn't have to reach across to the knee. It might reach across to the crease of your hip. It might reach a little bit lower. The next time we bring that left hand across towards the right thigh, we're just going to hold it there. So you might have like one hand on top of the other, or both hands resting on the thigh. Really lovely. We're going to keep the left hand where it is, free up your right hand, and either hand on the hip or arm reaching upwards, we're going to take a little bend to the left. So maybe that looks a little like this. Maybe that looks a little like this with a really nice bent elbow. Doesn't have to be straight. You won't be able to side bend as far that way because we're holding on with that hand. It should feel like you've got less bend. And then you're going to come back really slow, letting that arm relax down, and then just let everything reset and have a little shimmy around. Beautiful. Is everyone all right? Good. Thumbs up's good. Thank you. Nice. So just kind of feeling the sensations in your body is kind of, that's, I was going to say, that's all we're doing, but that can be hard for us because we're sort of, our brains are often really busy and they're sort of pinging around. So it seems simple, but just trying to come back every time when we move in a different way, just to how does this feel? How does it feel and where do I feel it? And just exploring it kind of gently so that you're really getting that sense of presence in your body. We'll take that sequence to the opposite side. So if you just keeping that left hand on the left leg, anywhere, thigh, knee, hip crease. And then that right arm is going to extend out towards the right side. Again, you can keep it nice and bent, extend it out a bit longer, keep it a little bit lower down. We're going to inhale, and you're going to exhale and sweep it across towards that left thigh somewhere. And you're going to find your rhythm. As you start to take your next breath in, we're going to open up that side of the ribs and that side of the chest. Really nice, everyone. And closing it up, bringing that right hand across. Really nice. Remember that you can explore whether this hand wants to go a little higher or it wants to reach a little lower. Maybe different sensations there for us. And we change the position of things. And then the next time that right hand lands over towards the left, we're going to pause. We're going to release that left hand and maybe find the waist. Just resting the hand on the waist or the hip can be a nice option. Or maybe that arm is going to start to sort of unfurl upwards a little bit as we gently lean the spine towards our right. Again, holding on with that right hand to the left thigh. So that's going to limit how far we can go. Taking a breath or two down that left side. Trying to relax through your shoulders. And then bringing things very slowly back. Bringing that spine up. And then releasing that twist with the right arm. And letting everything relax. Beautiful. Now, what we might do in a second for this next one is we might just shuffle a bit further towards the front of our chair. We do that mindfully. I don't want you to shuffle so far forward that you're like teetering on the edge of it. And if shuffling forward in your chair isn't possible, then we can stay where we are and we've got a variation coming up. So don't worry. But if that capacity is there, then just come in a little bit further forward. So there's just a bit more thigh off the chair. Nice. So our option here, number one option, is to pick up the toes again, but keep the heels on the floor. We've still got quite a wide stance with our legs. I've still got my feet a little bit wider than my hips. And you can keep that or you can bring them a little bit more hip distance. It's up to you. So our option one is to gently take both knees towards the right. So if you're in a car and the windscreen wipers, that kind of movement that they do, we're going to do that with our lower body. You could do it with your toes on the floor and then they just kind of shift as the legs go right and as the legs go left. Now, if you want a version where we don't have to sit forward, we're going to do a similar thing, but we're going to twist from the upper body rather than the lower body. So we might be further back in our chair and our legs are stationary, but we're moving gently through the spine, right and left. You could actually, if you wanted to, just explore both of those options a couple of times because they'll feel different. The first option, we're moving the legs and the pelvis. The second option, the legs and the pelvis is still, and our movement is through the spine. But either way, we're putting the body into a gentle twist where the torso and the legs aren't lined up in their neutral way. Really, really nice, everyone. And then just have a little stop there, give things a wriggle or whatever you need. And again, we're going to just kind of explore a sort of slightly different version or bringing in a little bit of extra movement. So we're sort of more involving the rest of the body. As we twist one way, if you want to, so say my legs are going over to the right, I might take my arms to the left and gently turn my gaze to the left as well. So I'm adding more of a twist through more of the body. And then as I come back, sort of come through the middle, and then my arms and my torso and my gaze turn in the opposite direction. Lovely. And again, if your legs are needing to be more supported by the chair, if you're further back in your chair, we're going to do twisting arms, torso, gaze, one side and then the other. So as you're twisting, you're with whatever variation of that feels right for you. We're trying to let the body find a really sort of soft twist. So we're not forcing it as far around as we can go. We're letting it sort of tell us where we can stop without putting strain on our joints, and also the breath sometimes. If we're really straining to get further into a shape, sometimes our breath will often like get short or we'll hold our breath. It's just paying attention to things like how you're breathing as you twist. Whether when you're in that twist, you can keep things like your jaw or your forehead relaxed, even your shoulders. Again, just because they're places that naturally will tense sometimes without us knowing if we're in a shape that doesn't feel quite right. And then the next time you come back to the center, just having a moment to sit and and just observe how your body feels. You might come back to just popping the hand on your chest or tummy. You might choose just to close your eyes and again, just come back to some steady, gentle breaths where you follow the breath as it comes in and you follow the breath as it leaves. Again, don't worry about changing how you're breathing. Let your practice just be noticing your breath. That's enough. Especially when it's a Friday night. You don't want to overcomplicate things. Probably done enough of that all week, right? And see if perhaps you can imagine as you breathe in, that breath being able to move more into your torso. Considering that perhaps that lovely, gentle, repetitive twisting has created some space around our ribs, around our tummy, around our back. So that there is a little bit more space for our breath to move into. Thinking about it maybe as like we're clearing out space. Good. And then just when you're ready, just maybe opening your eyes again, maybe just releasing your hands. Nice. Feet can stay where they are, or they can come back in a little closer if that's more comfortable. It's entirely up to you. We're just going to bring our, I'm so rubbish with my left and right generally, but today feels even harder. You can see me like the cogs wearing every time I pick up my hand. So we're going to just bring the right hand across to the left side of the body, just on top of the shoulder, if that's possible. And if it's not, don't worry, we can do this without, with the hands in the lap. And really, I bring the hand over to the shoulder sometimes as a sort of gentle encouragement, because we do often sort of end up doing this with our shoulders naturally because they're tense and the body responds to your tension. So just having the hand there sometimes can help as a cue of like, is it lifting or can I relax it? That's all it's there for. So you can take it or leave it. And we're just going to relax our jaw. So just notice that's another place that we often clench or grind, relaxing the jaw. And we're just going to move the head kind of freely. I'm not going to kind of give loads of instruction. But if in doubt, sometimes I'll just go to the right, a little bit up, a little bit left. And like I'm drawing a square shape, I guess, with my head or my neck. But just sort of exploring your neck very gently and very slowly. So with necks especially, we always start really small. We don't kind of go in all big old rolls. And trying to keep that breath when we're moving through the head, the neck, and also there might be sensation in our shoulders. Keeping that breath as soft as we can. So just exploring. And you can switch whenever you're ready. Maybe just swapping over the hands if you've been holding on to the shoulder. And again, just have a little move around. You can also give your shoulder a little massage when you're here if you want to. A little squeeze or a little pat. Anything that feels good. Remember, all we're doing is using this practice to connect to the body. So in whatever way that works for us, we can go with it. Nice soft jaw, nice relaxed forehead. Really nice, soft and easy breaths if you can. Good. And then just release that shoulder. Gently bring your head back up and so just see if you can stack your head right on top of your spine. So maybe sometimes we sort of end up with the head sort of poking forward or lolling back. Just see if you can sit tall and really imagine your spine and then your neck. I mean, your neck is part of your spine, but as just one smooth line. So we've got head stacked on top of spine, stacked on top of pelvis. Good. We're going to bring our palms together at the middle of the chest. We're going to breathe in. Send the fingertips and the hands up any amount. They might just lift a little. They might lift all the way to the sky. And then as you exhale, part your hands and just circle the arms down. So fingertips kind of raining back down towards the ground. So just a really gentle flow. As you breathe in, bring the palms together and slide them upwards. As you exhale, break the hands free and just send the palms downwards, fingertips follow. Nice and soft. That circle with the arms can be really little and contained, or it could simply be you part the hands, then you bring the hands down in front of you. Play with what feels right for the body today. Don't worry about anything else. Trying to let yourself really drop into that rhythm of movement and of breath. It's like we're training the brain muscle to start to learn how to focus in one place, the place that we decide we're going to send our attention. Good. You can imagine almost like clearing a little bubble around yourself that's like a little safe bubble where you can decide who comes in, you can decide who doesn't come in. Somewhere that you feel safe, sort of cozy inside. We're going to take one more. And then maybe as you take your palms apart from one another, you just keep your hands lifted. Again, any amount, remember? So it doesn't matter where they are, whether they're wide or narrow. And then take a big breath in. See if you can breathe into your lungs, your ribs and your belly. Breathe into your lungs. And then let it out with a sigh. One more time. Big breath in. Big sigh out, and then let your arms just gradually float all the way back down to your lap. Well done, everyone. Might want to roll the shoulders out a little bit there. Might want to shake out the hands and the arms. Awesome work. Good. So we're going to come towards breathing practice. So we've got a, normally I'll stick with the same breathing exercise for like a few weeks, just so we can get to know it a little bit more, be a bit more familiar with it, and then we'll sort of change it up. Lots of them will be similar to things we've done before, and sometimes they might be totally new. Again, just like the movement with any breathing exercise that we do together, It's not a have to, it's a you can try it if you want, and you can leave it if you don't want. It's really personal and often will depend on how we're feeling on the day as to how a breath practice feels. If you want to sit back in your chair, you can. If you want to move from your chair and lay on the couch or the bed or the floor or whatever for this bit, you're more than welcome. Eyes can be closed or open. So wherever we are, we want our arms to be quite relaxed. So whether that's on the arms of your chair or in your lap, palms can be turning up or palms can be turning down, but we want the arms to have some support underneath them. So we're going to practice a variation of a breath called alternate nostril breathing. So traditionally in yoga, we do that one where we block a nostril and we breathe in through one, and then we block the other and we breathe out through the other, and it goes on. We're going to do a no hands, no nostrils version of that breath for the next couple of weeks and explore it in a different way. It's a breath really nice for sort of feeling, it's not a completely relaxing breath in terms of make you feel kind of really gooey and sleepy. It's quite a nice one for sort of a little bit of clarity. It's really nice for when you're trying to find some gentle focus. And the idea from a yogic perspective, working with the energies of the body, is that it balances the energies of the body because you're working with two channels, the breath coming in one side and then leaving through the next side. So arms nice and soft. We're going to imagine that when we breathe in, we're breathing in through that right arm from the fingertips all the way up to the shoulder and to the chest. When we breathe out, we're going to imagine that breath leaving, traveling all the way down that left arm and out through the left fingers. Then we're going to breathe in, imagine that breath coming back in through the left hand up towards the shoulder of the left side, across the chest, and as you breathe out, imagining it leaving through that right arm all the way down to your fingers. So just joining in whenever you feel ready. Breathing in through the right arm. Visualizing maybe that breath leaving through the left. Breathing in through the left. Breathing out through the right. That breath might have a colour. You might visualize a colour moving up the arms, across the chest and down the other side. Your arms don't have to be totally still. You can move your body if you need to. Like you're creating this loop. Your breath moves from one end to the next and then back the way it came. And if that's feeling okay, you might do just a couple more rounds now. You can let it go at any point that you want to. Keeping it soft and not worrying if it feels a bit weird or a bit awkward or challenging. And whenever you're ready to let that go, let it go. Just let the arms move, let your breath come back to find its normal, where you don't need to focus on it much. It does what it needs to do. Be aware of any parts of your body that are asking you for a wriggle or a move or a stretch. And then just spending the next minute or two just trying to find a position where there's as little effort in your body as possible. So leaning back maybe Getting everything to feel a bit softer, softening down into your chair or whatever surface you're on. And just finding some form of, I'm going to say stillness, but I don't mean physical stillness if that's not right for you. But just a space where there's sort of nothing you need to do unless you want to do it. You can stay with sensation of your feet on the ground or your bum in your chair if it's nice to have an anchor. Or alternatively, you might just let your mind have a free wander around, sort of scanning sounds, sensations, whatever it is in the space around you that is popping out at you. You might feel like the intention that you named at the beginning of the session is an intention that you don't just want to take for this session, but you might want to take that into the weekend, the next couple of days. Or there might be something else that you just think of now. What are you wanting to take with you as we move into the weekend? And then we're just going to bring our, hands either together or hands on the thighs, and you're just going to kind of rub them together so that they get a little warm. So create a little bit of friction on your hands in some way, like you just come in from somewhere cold. And then pop your hands anywhere you like, but I'm going to give you some options. Maybe one hand comes to the chest and one comes to the tummy. But there might be somewhere else that, your body feels tired or sore or heavy where you place the hands, and just let that warmth and that energy just sort of sit and soak it in. We're going to take a deep breath together in through the nose or the mouth, the biggest breath you can. We're going to hold it just for a second, and then when you're ready, you're going to open the mouth and let that breath go. Fully and completely. Maybe do that one more time if you missed that one. So nice deep breath in. And then breathing out with a big sigh. Fully and completely. Well done, everybody. And then whenever you're ready, relax and soften everything. Open your eyes. Take your time. Thank you so much for joining our Friday night session. It's our first official Mobilates Friday night session. So thanks for coming. It's always nice to end a week. I know not some of us have weekends that are not, that we might be working or we might be busy, but it's just nice to kind of have that moment at the end of, the Monday to Friday week where you can have yourself a bit of space, like set an intention, maybe for the next couple of days. And hopefully it's helped just to sort of slow your evening down a little bit. So thank you for being here. If you've got any questions, give us a shout. But I'll see, hopefully, you next week.
Thanks, Meg.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Take care. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.